Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles. Welcome to my channel. I'm filming again from another area of my mom's loved garden. She puts a lot of care, and look at all the roses behind me. Okay, so a long while back, maybe a month or two ago, probably 2 months ago, I saw Andrea from Sew to Fit do a vlog where she showed where she drafted a cami top from her bodice block. And she had great results. She got a good fitting cami. Basically, there are lots of camisole patterns out there in the market, but the ones I've tried, they've been too, although the fit has been okay, I've had to add things and change things so that it's like I want it to be. Usually the cami patterns are very low down here, showing more than what I would like to show. Usually they're very tiny spaghetti type straps, and those actually look fine when wearing a bra is optional. It's not optional for me. I can't like choose not to wear a bra on a day so that the cami looks really nice, and I need to have a thicker strap, you know, that will cover my bra really. And I want higher coverage here, I want higher coverage around there, just for modesty's sake. So I thought, you know what, I've got my bodice block that fits me. I've had good results modifying it to make a dress and other things, so I might as well just go ahead and do what Andrea did and just make a camisole that I want, the perfect one for me. So in my mind, my cami would have a roundish sort of neckline, a thick strap about 3.5 centimeters wide, a nice armpit coverage here. I don't want anything showing there, and just a nice round lower sort of neckline at the back. Very simple, no extra ruffles or frills or anything. It would be sort of looser down there, but not that much either, and for sure it needs to have side bust darts and back waist darts because I like things to be shaped. So I've gone through the process with you. My approach is a bit unconventional, but you're gonna see what I've done to create the pattern that I want, and then I'm going to show you how it came out. So I'll leave you with the video of all the things I've done, and then I'll be back. Up to this point, I've been working with my bodice block that I have in cardboard here, and this fits me. I drafted this last year and it still fits me, but this only comes up to my natural waist. I've been using it just to create bodices and then adding on different types of skirts, but I want to create a cami top and some other types of tops. So I have extended my pattern beyond the natural waist, as you can see on this paper. And I'll just remove that and chat to you about that. So at my natural waist there, the smallest point, if I measure 20 centimeters down, I find the widest part of my hip. So that is why I've made this 20 centimeters longer. Although my tops might be short or anything, I do want to make sure that it'll go around my hips properly. And so I've extended that 20 centimeters down. From the center front to the side over there is 1/4 of my hip measurement plus some wearing ease. So in this bodice I have 1.5 inches of wearing ease, which makes it quite fitted, but I can still breathe in there. For my hip measurement, I added on 1.5 inches of ease, or 4 centimeters. That divide that by 4, and I put that measurement there, and then I just united the curves there. Now it does look a bit squarish. I will have to go and soften those curves up, but this is gonna be something I'm gonna sew up quickly in some fabric, and I want to mark with chalk exactly where I want my neckline to be for a cami top, and where I want it to go up there. I want to note everywhere, like where the width of my bra strap hits. I want all those things to be really well marked on my muslin, so I can then go ahead and modify this and create a cami top that is going to fit me. Now that dart on the waist there, I just extended that same 10 centimeters down, and I might use it, I might not if I'm trying to make a more loose style, but it's there for my reference. And the same thing for the back. This is my back bodice block, and I have just extended it exactly the same as the front. Now I took that dart and extended it down, I think 13 centimeters, which is what I would do on a skirt. You know, for a top, sometimes I wouldn't really sew that, or I'd make it a bit not so tight because I don't want it that fitted, but it's a reference. And it's important to note where my waist is if I want to modify that dart later on. Basic, just a basic shape, nothing special, minimal wearing ease. I know the bust dart fits me. I didn't sew up this dart. I don't even know if I can see. Anyway, this is a completed thing. The head was so tiny, I had to force my way in, but that doesn't matter. I ended up ripping the shoulder seam a little bit. I wore the type of bra that I always wear, and I marked with chalk the outline of where my bra straps are on both sides and where I would like the neckline to be, the depth of it. So my bra would be a little bit below that. I don't want that much cleavage. I also marked from here where I want it to be, sort of on the side of my chest there, on top of my bust. So my son helped me marking the back. Look at all that wonky line. But anyway, that is my bra there, and then my straps coming up there. So it's a reference for me to know how to shape the back part of the cami. I did sew up the back darts of the cami. I think I will sew them up when I finish my design. But for now, I know once I cut into this, I'm going to need to take some volume off here for it being a more fitted style around the bust on there. So we shall see. So this is a paper that I've transferred from my bodice block, making all the adjustments for the neckline, everything from what I tried on from that mock-up I made of my bodice block. Now I said I wanted to raise here on the top by 1.5 centimeters, and there is a green line there that marks the original, and I've just taken a French ruler and just raised it up by 1.5 centimeters because that's the coverage I want. Now there are lots of crazy lines here, but basically here is my apex right there. Okay, and I've drawn a circle about 1 inch around it, and that is as far as I want to keep my darts out of the apex. I don't want a dart hitting right there. Now the larger the bust, the bigger this circle could be. You know, you don't want it to be over your bust. So I have my side bust dart, and I've drawn a line there just to mark the height of my bust. Now above that, about 1 inch above, I drew another line just parallel to it. And from there, when I tried on my black little mock-up thing I did, I had excess here on the arm side. I didn't have excess on the neckline, it was just around here. So with Andrea's advice, because I was sort of leaning towards taking a huge chunk of dart here from the arm side, she told me take some off the side seam as well, and then you're going to have a smaller dart here, and then it won't distort this area that much, because my plan is to close this dart and release it to this area on the waist, so it's a more flowy cami, right? So I took out less than 1 centimeter here. I have a pink line there, so just above where that dart starts, I started taking it in up to the top. That removed some bulk, and then from here I have a dart that's 1.8 centimeters in depth, and then I just drew the line there to 1 inch above my apex, as you can see there. So I've done some cut lines. I've cut one of these legs of the dart, cut one of them up to that point there, but not through it, and then from there, parallel to the center here and perpendicular to my, you know, height there, I've just continued that line from the waist dart down. So there is a pink line going all the way down. Now all I'm going to do is hinge. I'm going to close this dart from here, so I'm going to rotate it there, and that's going to open and give me more space for a more flowy top here while still maintaining all this area nice and fitted, no gaping around the arm side or the neck or anywhere, but it'll be nice and more flowy, not excessively flowy, but you know, around here. So here is my final front piece for my basic cami. This is just very basic, nothing special. And going against my usual practice, I have added some seam allowance to this cami. So for the neckline here and the arm side, I have 0.6 centimeters or 1/4 of an inch. That is the way I sew. I like to have a smaller seam allowance around here. And on the side seam, I've given myself 1 centimeter. And I've clearly written that down there. Whenever I draft, I write whether it has or doesn't have seam allowance. For the back, it's quite similar. I just transferred what was marked on my fabric, where my bra straps are, and then where I wanted the back to be, very simple straight back and then curving out. Now on the side here, I want it 1.5 centimeters higher. So I put a little yellow paper that's sort of transparent where I've traced that shape. I've marked there where the straps start there, right on that edge. And then I've cleaned out that curve and raised that little bit there. So what I've done here is I've just drawn 2 slash lines from the edge there down to the bottom, from the edge to the bottom. The total length you can see from my natural waist, I want it to be 12 centimeters under that. So to resemble what I've done on the front, although I'm not taking out that from the back. I don't have like breasts at the back. I do want it to flare out like the front. So I am gonna open it a little bit like that and just try to match the width that I achieved on the front pattern piece. Straightening slightly the back of the cami to match the shape of the front, I go and put the pattern piece on top of my block again, and it is transparent, so I am able to just trace on the dot onto my new pattern piece. This is my pattern piece for my straps for my camis. Now this length, I'll show you how I got that in a second, but I want my straps to be 3.5 centimeters in width when they're finished. So I wrote it there, 3.5 centimeters times 2 is 7 centimeters. And then I added 2 more centimeters of seam allowance. So this width here is 9 centimeters. When I get my strap and I fold it in half and sew it there with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, flip it around, my strap finished will have 3.5 centimeters of width. So that is my preferred. It's wider than my bra strap, wider than the widest of my bra straps, so it will always be covered. To know how long to make your strap, I have gotten my initial bodice block where I have marked my cami, as you can see there. This is how I originated my pattern, and I have there that mark there where my bra hits. So I know my cami is going to finish there and it's going to finish there. And I know my shoulders and my chest are going to be in this area. So I'm just going to measure from here to there. And then what is that, 29 centimeters? So my pattern piece will have a bit more length than that, so I can tuck them in to the seam allowances, to the facings. Cool, I hope that wasn't too confusing. This is the same triple crepe you've seen just the other day with the Harrison blouse. I've also made some Dawn pants. This is the last garment you're gonna see with this fabric. The fabric is gone. I've used it all up. So it's very nice. It's very, I'm showing you the back part. Okay, this is the front. It's very simple. It's mid-hip. It's not cropped, although it looks tiny there on the screen. It has the side bust darts there. And at the back it has some darts for shaping as well. You can see the straps are really nice and thick. Inside I have a biggish, you can see, very long facing. I like my facing to cover all my bra, like to be around higher than my natural waist. So it's like it's lined, it's almost lined. The facing comes up to there. I want it fully to cover my bra. I've made the mistake in the past of leaving it there, and then when I wear it, it's like right at my apex, the facing, and you can see that through the fabric. I don't think that looks very good. So yeah, it's just a nice satin in there that's been understitched. There's no interfacing here anywhere. This fabric doesn't really need it that much, and you can see the nice thick straps. So yeah, I'm going to insert here a clip where I'm walking around so you can see how it fits, and yeah, that's coming. Okay, so here I have my navy cami. You can see how nicely it fits here on the chest. It's covering all my bra. There's no bra showing anywhere. It's got all the coverage I want here. You know, there's nothing showing that I don't feel comfortable with, and I can still have the camisole look, you know, that I love. It's nicely fitted around here. Side bust out there fits nicely, and it hits around mid-hip, and that's where I want it to be. I can make it longer, you know, and the back has some shaping there with some darts, you know. So just the fit I want, just the cami I want, and I'm super happy with it. I hope you have a go. If you have a basic bodice block that you know that fits you, or if you have a basic dress that has the side bust darts and the waist darts, you can transform that into your block. If it fits you well, you can modify it, and you saw how I lengthened it to not stop at my natural waist, to fall down to my hips, and that to make sure that the measurements were going to go around my hips, you know. So it's not a difficult thing, just a few basic measurements and divisions, and you can make it. You can definitely get your perfect camisole pattern, especially if you're struggling with ones that don't have side bust darts or that you think are too low. You know, you can make one that will fit you like you want to. I'm super happy with mine, super happy. And you know, in a little while you're going to see the first modification I've made to this basic pattern, so that will be coming soon. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like all those things, and have fun sewing. Bye.